Okay, hello and welcome everybody. This is going to be one of 3 of the faction votes for Total War Attila. I'm going to be doing 3 Let's Play campaigns when the game first comes out, and the first faction vote is going to be for the Viking Forefathers DLC. I did try and do this with Capture Desktop, but for some reason whenever I record with it, it just spazzes out and doesn't do the audio properly, so I'm having to do it in game, so I do apologise if it's obviously smaller screen, etc. But we have got the choices of the Danes, the Geats and the Jutes. Today will be released on Saturday, and the votes will be running up to next Saturday. Votes will be counted next Saturday, and then obviously that will be finalised, and I'll be moving on to the second one, which is going to involve, I would say, probably the hordes, which is going to be the barbarian hordes. We've got the Ostrogoths, Visigoths, Alans, the Vandals, etc, etc. And again, that'll run to the Saturday afterwards. And then for the third one is going to be one of the bigger empires, so Eastern Roman Empire, Sassanids, Western Roman Empire, maybe a few others mixed into there. I'll have to see what that's going to be. And then obviously you guys will vote for that. I don't actually know the rosters, particularly for the Danes, the Geats or the Jutes. I've got a rough idea from just obviously reading the information, so I'll go through it so you guys have got a varied idea of what they're going to be like. But treat them kind of like the Saxons. There's going to be axe units, spear units, obviously naval units because they're raiding Vikings, blah 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 blah. Typical Viking units that you think of. They're not generally going to have cavalry, for instance, so bear that in mind. So we have got the Danes. This is their starting position. It's not in typical normal Denmark or modern day Denmark, but obviously it's the islands there. You've got Norway, Sweden and Denmark. Let's read this. Obviously I'll read the bottom bit because that's what kind of describes them a little bit. Born to raiding like the other Norse tribes, the Danes full well know how to draw profit from destruction. Born to the sea, they can navigate the roughest waters safely, and seasickness is viewed as a weakness of lesser men. So obviously that's one of their traits, so they're going to be very good as a naval force, as you would expect from Vikings, and as you can see in the picture there. So that is going to be the Danes, so that's going to be the first choice. I'll obviously be leaving in the description of the poll, so you guys can click on it and then get clicking away, vote for your factions. Second one is going to be the Geats. They are going to be on the southern tip of Sweden, and as you can see the Swedish peninsula. And these guys in the picture is obviously navy as well, but I'd assume they're going to be quite melee navy. They're probably a hybrid of both. Born to the raiding like the other Norse tribes, the Geats know full well how to draw profit from destruction, same thing as the previous one. They are also hardy people, virtually immune to the cold, and relish the thoughts of fighting in the snow. So obviously, again, that's one of their traits. So if you're in a winter zone or migrating southwards, which I assume you probably would be with these guys after a while, they're still going to fight decent in snowy conditions compared to other factions like Rome, etc, etc. So we have the Geats. And then last but not least, we have the Jutes. These guys are actually in Denmark, or modern day Denmark, but obviously at the time it probably wasn't. So obviously the Danes are there, and they probably crossed over and took over later on in Viking history, because these factions are actually early Vikings, it's not actually late Vikings, so bear that in mind. And again, Norse, so this is as you expect, but this time this picture shows axe warriors, but I'll read this first. Born to the raiding like the other Norse tribes, the Jutes know full well to draw profit from destruction, same again as previous. When fighting and destroying settlements, these fearsome warriors leave no stone unturned, and inevitably return richer men for the conquering. So obviously a very raiding-esque party, but obviously these guys can be more melee-based. If you want to see a melee-based faction, or land faction compared to maybe the seaworthy ones, / land ones, of the Jutes and the Geats, then this is, the Danes and the Geats, then the Jutes are your people. Obviously we have the Saxons to the south of us here, and then over to this bit as well. You got Franks in here, Western Roman Empire, so you know we're going to be surrounded by other of these factions. So if you were going to play as the Jutes, you could probably get take out the Danes, etc, and then the Danes versus the Jutes or the Geats. But you know, you get the general gist. This is going to be running to next Saturday, so get your votes in, and hopefully your faction will win. Hope you enjoyed this, and get hyped. Total War Attila is going to be released in 5 weeks time, and we've got 3 weeks of voting to be done. In the meanwhile, check out all my other Let's Play series, but I'm going to try and wrap up. Wrath of Sparta DLC as Corinthos, Mystilia, Grand Campaign, which is obviously the free DLC, and for the Black Sea Cultures, and Cultures for the Black Sea Cultures pack as well. So, see you all in the next one. Bye bye.